Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And after 21 days, it certainly looks now that Celtic have got a striker. I mean, hallelujah. But we'll
Oh,
also speak about that, the arrival of Thomas Cavancara from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And we'll also speak about tomorrow's game in the Europa League against Bologna. I'm joined by Alistair. I mean, we may as well go on with Alistair. The first bit of news, Celtic finally 21 days into the transfer window, which is pathetic enough as it is. Now, I'm not going to keep the negative. I'm trying to be as positive as I can in this video, right? That probably won't come. But we have finally got a striker, Thomas Cavancara from Borussia Mönchengladbach on loan to the end of the season with a buy option at the end of it. I mean, stats don't blow me away, but we needed somebody, and with out of all the people they've been linked with, I think he's the best that we could have unfortunately hoped for due to lazy recruitment, if I'm being honest.
I think what it is, Josh, it's the right profile player. But what I would say, how come it takes somebody long? And I hope he's a good record that Sparta Prague was with.
I think Sparta, I think it was really.
Yeah, I think it was Sparta. So hopefully we get that player. Good age.
Sparta Prague was right.
Yeah. And hopefully we get that player. And I believe he's quick. Wouldn't take much to improvement in what we're.
The way, I'm going to say, I'm going to say anybody's an upgrade from me and Johnny Kenny. I'm going to be honest with you. And the other strikers that we've got here, I mean, you did speak there about him trying to, and I think this is what this signing is going to be, because he's another player who is obviously been out of favour at Gladbach. Gladbach paid a decent amount of money to take him away from Sparta Prague. It was like 12-13 million pounds. So I would, if we can get him to that form as you says that he was in at Sparta Prague, I'll put his stats up on the screen for that season where he was at. He's just his Sparta Prague stats.
Somewhat 21 goals in 48 games.
49 games, 24 goals and 7 assists. If he can rediscover that level of form, then he could be a good option for us and a good answer to our striker problems. But this season, he has only scored 1 goal for, I think it was in Talyaspor. He was in Turkey in his way. So, yeah. I mean, it's just taking another major gamble. I know it's on a loan, so it isn't really a gamble, but it is still a gamble because we need a centre forward that's going to try and we need a centre forward to come in and
hit the ground running.
We need a centre forward that's going to come in, hit the ground running, and I don't think he's actually played much football either, which is a bit frustrating for me, to be honest with you, because that's not what we need. We can't just. You need to come in against Hearts and you need to hit the ground running. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just because we've signed a centre forward now doesn't mean that. That's us. We should be just getting started. We're all over one striker doesn't change this. We are so light in all positions. And that goes for the wing positions, centre half, and as you said there, Alistair, another centre forward, because say Cavancara gets injured, we're back to square one again.
Yeah.
And the other options at the club at the moment, Kelechi Iheanacho has shown that he could maybe have something, but his fitness record
is so unreliable.
Exactly. Maida is really uncomfortable up front. The whole Maida up front experiment for me, it's just not worked. Worked for half a season, which was obviously great last season, but it's not worked. Johnny Kenny, without being too harsh on the boy, because I just feel that I'm constantly moaning about him. He's not good enough. We all know that.
That's fault.
It's-
I'm always at the stadium you with Johnny Ken, it's not his fault.
Aye,
He's been
so
put in a horrendous situation and
uh,
he never ever should have been.
no. But one player's. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, right, and this is where I'm going to be maybe a bit negative on it. 21 days to get a player in is absolutely pathetic. I mean, seriously, like manager or not, a manager sacking or not, 21 days to get a fucking football player through the door.
Yeah, I
Come
know.
on, man. I mean, seriously. But the positive is we've got him in, and we've got
And we've got an option as well.
I think the option
€7 million.
£7 million it's meant to be reported. Do I see Celtic paying that? He would have to come up and he would have to score probably 15, 20 goals in this second half of the season for Celtic to even look at that. So we'll also see what happens down the line, but he's going to have to score that number of goals, I think, for fans to be convinced and hopefully can get us towards.
Even if he does, so with the rebuild we're going to have to endure in the summer, can we afford £7 million in one player?
I think so. I'm going to be honest with you, I think so, because the Celtic board are going to have to spend serious cash in the summer. That £70 million that's sitting is going to start dwindling
Well,
because they're going to have to spend serious cash.
let me
And
be clear on this, Joy. It's no £77 million. It's actually more. That's only the last accounts. The accounts
aye,
is going to go up here. Probably talking 80, 90.
but
It's
no matter how much they've got in the bank, they've got a lot of money and they're going to start spending it. Now, if he did hit the ground running and was able to score, as I said, 15, 20 goals, I don't see why not. I think I look at it and I go at that. You would rather a striker that's been here and has already scored goals in this league than, saying at the end of the loan, no, we're going to try and need to bed in another striker. It's, I don't know. Obviously, that's looking too far ahead. But don't you, it could come and it could be absolutely rubbish. Which, to be honest with you, at this moment in time, I'm hedging my bets on.
the
To be
only thing I
honest.
would say on it, Joy. I'm glad we've got the option because we all remember the Adam made a carry on. We had to negotiate.
Aye.
It
And
wasn't
I,
written into the contract. I will say that.
And that goes with it. That goes with the thing about signing a permanently for that amount of money. You could have a good 6 months like Eden and then be rubbish.
Aye.
So we need to just wait and see how it comes. But I think that the one thing is there's still so much work to do, and I thought 2 weeks they've got left, something around that.
A week Monday.
So they've got a week. Let's be honest, because they're away in Bologna to play. They'll come back Friday. Nothing will get done at the weekend because it's the Celtic board. So they've got a week. So, and you've still got another striker to be brought in my opinion. Still got another winger to be brought in. And that's minimum. There's so many more positions. There's so many more positions like centre half that need to be dinged. And so if they don't even get the bare minimum, and that's why I'm still a bit quite hang me about it. I'm just like, aye, well done with what you've signed a player after 21 days. Incredible. What do you want a medal? Like, well done. So but
mean, the Celtic board will be sitting there at the moment thinking, and I can imagine this in the boardroom. Ungrateful bastards. We bought them a player. And let's be honest, probably only done that because all the fans at Rugby Park on Sunday were singing sign a player. Let's be completely honest about it.
But I'm not even going to speak at the board because I'm just sitting there fed up speaking about them, to be honest with you. And that's where I'm at the point. I'm just sick of it, to be honest with you. It's just every single time we come on here, you're speaking about the board. So, but what they need to do in terms of, and it's not just the board, Martin O'Neill needs to be a lot more assertive in what he wants. I don't think he's been assertive enough, in my opinion. I still think he's kind of diming about the edges a bit, to be honest with you. But, I just would like to see him be a bit more assertive. And I know he's not only here at the end of the season, but at the end of the day, he's got 6 months to try and win this league. So he should be a lot more assertive in what players he wants.
It's odds against this one in the league at the minute.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Martin O'Neill needs to be got at here. The odds are against us. Get me the players that are going to maybe put some of the odds back in our favour, because the 2 year title rivals have done that. They've signed players at high calibre, decent players. And that's why I said in the summer, Celtic have got a massive window, because Hearts and Rangers aren't going to stand still either. So if they don't have a massive window in the summer, we're in severe trouble at getting left behind. Aye. And so they've not got an excuse in the summer. Now, I'm not saying that every single player that we sign needs to be £7-8 million, but they're going to need to identify the positions.
Smart. I mean, look at Hearts. The 2 wingers, 700 grand for the 2 of them.
Look at Bodo Glimt.
A club that's dearest signing in the history is £3 million, did you say?
I don't know that off a bit. It's not. I'm pretty certain it's not as much as with Celtic's income.
Well, it'll be £11 million.
Not even just record sale, but their income won't be as much. Their stadium isn't as big, so it's not about the money and spending it. It's about getting the recruitment proper in the summer, and that has been Celtic's biggest problem for years. Celtic need to get this, talking about the summer in terms of recruitment. Celtic need to get this right, or they're in serious trouble of being left behind by the rest of the league. And I don't mean just Celtic and Hearts and Rangers, sorry. I mean a lot of these teams in this league, because I think that's how big this rebuild is in the summer for Celtic.
It's massive.
But at the same time, they should be giving Martin O'Neill the best possible chance and the best tools to make sure that he can try. If he doesn't win the league, fine, but giving them the best chance to try and get that, get 5 in a row. And hopefully Cavancara is one of them, but he cannot be the only one in his position. There needs to be another centre forward brought in, there needs to be another winger brought in, and there needs to be, in my eyes, a centre half brought in as well, bare minimum.
Well, let's be honest, all over the park we need strengthening.
Aye. And you're not going to, and I think we both under, you're not going to get all of the park in one window, but you need to look at the positions that really need filling. Striker's one of them. We're halfway there in my eyes. They're trying to, get some players, and I think, as I say, we need one more. Winger is, we're crying out for somebody to come in there. And centre half.
Right-hand side.
Centre half, we're crying out as well, because Kurt Vickers is out, which leaves Scales and Trusty, and then nobody else. And I'm not counting Stephen Welsh, because Stephen Welsh should be in a Motherwell shirt at the moment, and he's not, because we can't sign.
We should clarify this before we move on. He can now only go to Motherwell.
So he should be in a Motherwell top and playing for Motherwell.
We should actually be using Stephen Welsh as a mate weight to go and get match winners, in my opinion.
But with that, what is a mate weight though? Because you've took them off them. You'll take them back, but we want to play this time.
No, but I'm just saying, Josh, we should be using everything.
The whole Stephen Welsh thing, I don't like it. I think it's...
No, I didn't like it.
It's pretty. I think it's pretty. And I don't like it for Stephen Welsh. I think it's pretty crap. The guy's finally found somewhere away from Celtic, where he's clearly not good enough to play at Celtic. He's finally found a club and a good manager, and they're having a good season. Oh no, we need to take it away because we need cover.
Yeah.
And remember Jeremiah Simpson-Pusey, who we wanted to put in the B team?
Yeah.
He started the first 2 games for Cologne in the Bundesliga. But we thought it was acceptable to put him in the B team, and he was asked about it, and he says that they wanted me to play in the B team. I said no.
And I don't blame him.
Apparently, I don't know. Apparently somebody told me it could be a load of rubbish, but apparently that's what he said. That it was asked about like time at Celtic, and apparently it was
That
basically
was the
all left.
rumour before they left, so
And I said at the time, it's absolutely baffling that a guy that's played Champions League football for Man City, we think it's acceptable to put him in a B team.
yeah. And not use him at all, basically.
No, but I think it was like,
One game.
aye, so it's absolutely unbelievable, honestly.
That scares Marvin Compare.
Aye.
Really, if you think about it.
No, it's absolutely mental.
And we would have paid a good loan fee for that.
Aye, we would have, because he's coming from Man City. They're not going to let him go. They'll let him go in cheap for them, but no for us. They'll probably ask for maybe £1 or £2 million loan fee, if I'm being honest.
I know.
So it's just how the club, but we're not surprised with this because that's how this club unfortunately operates. Aye, it is. But this squad needs to be at least 3 more signings being brought in. I'm probably disappointed.
We said 4 minimum, didn't we? So
there's one. So
one down, 3 go.
And we won't get the 3.
We're not even including a row, by the way.
I genuinely think we'll get 1. If you want my honest opinion, I think it'll be a complete and utter letdown.
Nothing would surprise me.
Because they'll look at it now as, we've brought a centre forward, so Maida's now free to go in the wing. That's what they'll look at now. And I think that's how they'll look at that. Unfortunately, they'll look at it as, well, Maida's free now, so Maida can go in the wing, and then that you can just put in just hand me a gap and make instead of actually going out and getting players who fit that position alongside Maida, then you've got maybe a bit of depth. God forbid a team have a bit of depth.
Yeah.
We can't have depth at Celtic.
Well, see, a guy said to me the day, he said, what is Celtic's recruitment model? I said, we've not got a recruitment model.
No. Okay, absolutely no recruitment model whatsoever. We think it's acceptable. Right, 2 main targets rumoured were Evan Ferguson, owned by Tony Bloom, by the way. Owned by Tony Bloom, employed by Tony Bloom. Right, there you go. Why the fuck would Evan Ferguson, Tony Bloom, say, aye, Evan, got to Celtic, my main title rival? Then you had the rumour, we were laughed at the boardroom by Leeds after they tried to go look at Joe Burrow. Like, now, hello?
I would just say, if the Leeds one in particular is true.
Well, why would they?
I mean, whoever spoke to Leeds should be sacked.
I've always looked, and I always say this: why would the journalist lie? What? No, he's got nothing. I think it was a journalist down south who.
It was the Yorkshire Post.
Aye, so they've not got any gripes against Celtic. They've not got any. Don't. I would understand if it came for the Scottish media. I could understand it maybe. But, so it has happened. But there's something I think in the boardroom here, no, Michael, wait a minute,
Leeds haven't got to deal with us.
Leeds and the 49ers own Rangers.
Yeah.
Why would they deal with us? Just like Tony Bloom is Evan Ferguson. I know he's on loan at Roma, but he is. That's who pays his, basically... Aye, and all this sort of stuff. Why would he? It's absolutely baffling how we do business. And this isn't just because, we've not got a manager. We see this every single window. There's always a farcical something involving Celtic where we're just honestly.
It was the neck in Balaclava in the summer. Knew it's this.
Aye. And they've got a week and they've still got so much to do. But they'll not get it all done because you've left it too late.
Yeah, and I can already hear the excuse. we've had to sack the recruit officer. We've had to
now,
replace
now,
the manager. I get. And why is that? Because you
uh,
appointed the two guys.
why did you have to sack the recruitment manager? Because he was shite and he basically was the head guy and a manager that was terrible and clearly shouldn't have been anywhere near the Celtic job. And that's where I've still got a bit of sympathy for Wilfred Nancy, because like we were saying with Kenny, he should have never been put in a position where he was the manager of Celtic Football Club.
I mean, Josh, I don't want to go back, but I'm just going to say something. If you listen to the way Wilfred Nancy spoke, and I don't want to get personal, but if I was doing an interview process, I would already know after one interview, he's no for us. So why in God's name?
No. But, I mean, we're rambling a bit now, so I'll move it on to the actual football. The game against Bologna tomorrow, I mean, the Europa League, I'm just going to be straight up with ours that I think we'll get beat, and I think it'll be a pretty comfortable victory for Bologna, if I'm being honest. I don't
I've
think
not
we'll get
seen much of Bologna, so I can't
it.
comment.
Domestically, they're having a bit of an indifferent season. European-wise, they're doing really well. But I don't think, I know people are saying, oh, they're out of form and stuff, and that doesn't matter. Celtic are the perfect.
Nobody players away from him.
And
Even when
that's.
we're stable, we're mince away from him.
We're just mincing Europe, let's be brutally honest. Even the home, somebody, there was a survey that was brought out, and it was like best atmosphere in Europe, and I think the Dortmund Stadium was first, and then Celtic Park was second. I busted laughing.
There was a time.
I know, Alistair. That time was 15 years ago.
I know.
It's and it's kind of like Celtic in Europe. We talk about Celtic as being this team that should be a European, team that are competing, but we're now getting overtaken by teams like your Bodo Glimps, like other teams like that.
We can't compete, Josh. No.
We're told we cannot compete by people and then the evidence goes completely against them when Bodo Glimt are completely destroying £1 billion Man City 3-1.
Yeah.
But we can't compete. And we're not even asking. We're asking to compete at Europa League level now. We're not even asking for Champions League.
If we're really lucky, we'll scrape into a playoff round in the Europa League. But that's something.
It'll be 2 games. See you later. See you next season.
Probably.
I'm telling you, no matter who we get, we could get a favourable draw, but it will just be Celtic in Europe. Well done, you got a playoff. There's 2 games.
The typical Celtic the worst season since COVID. And then out of nowhere, we'll manage to scrape a knockout tie, and everybody will go.
Nah, not a
There
chance.
you go.
Not a
There you
chance. This team, even if they did get into a European, even the teams that we could face, I mean, there's been better Celtic sides that have been put out of Europe by worse teams, i.e. Copenhagen.
Copenhagen's the one.
Copenhagen. Kairat or Mat. I'm talking about like knockout European, so but you're in the competition. I look at teams like that. Even maybe teams like Zenit St. Petersburg. You're telling me we couldn't compete with Zenit St. Petersburg? Come on, man.
Zenit St. Petersburg, that wasn't it? The Zenit St. Petersburg that won the UEFA Cup in 2000.
It wasn't Zenit with fucking Andrei Arshavin. It
was knuckleball. Anyway, Josh.
But I know I don't. I think even if we were to get a result, Bologna only playing well, but as I said, they're playing pretty well in European football. I think they get away wins at Freiburg, Celta Vigo. They did beat Arthur, which you kind of would expect them to. But I think they're fighting for a top 8 place. So, I don't see. I think at the moment we're 24th in goal difference. So
One goal. Ironically, the team below us are Ludogorets.
I, I, I I'm I'm going to be honest and probably pretty boring here. Celtic will not qualify for the next round of the Europa League. I just don't see it. I think
And
you
let's
know.
be honest, the heart. Sorry to go off on a tangent here, but the Hearts game's too big. I I genuinely don't think. I don't like speaking for Celtic fans, but the vast majority would rather win on Sunday.
But even I think if we win on Sunday, I just think this it's just kicking the can down the road. With a squad, I just don't have faith in this squad that they're going to do anything.
You
If
think it?
European or domestically, I just don't. And I'm sorry to come across quite downbeat and defeatist, but I don't see even with like teams in the past that maybe have been no great, but you still had somebody who you could rely on. I don't see that, and I'm hoping that obviously this new striker can be that guy, but I think we could beat Hearts on Sunday. I think because of with the injuries they've got and stuff, we could go and get a result in Bologna, which would be great and whatever else. But the task still remains the same. Celtic need at least 4 points out of these next 2 games in my eyes to qualify for the Europa League, and even 4 points might not be enough because we've left it so late.
We've left ourselves an uphill struggle, and I did say after the Braga game, if we don't qualify, that's the game that's going to come back and bite us in
Aye,
the
and we were terrible that night, and that's the thing. It's it's games like that, your Sturm Graz, which we did get the points out of, which is fine. We got the points all well and good. Sturm Graz, Braga, um, even
Red
Feyenoord,
Star.
Red Star Belgrade. We had the chances to win it, we couldn't take them. The goal we conceded that night is really bad as well, and Roman I can understand. Ironically, Roman and Feyenoord, when you look at it on paper,
On paper were the two hardest
aye,
games.
you can go, do you know what, I can let that slide. But the ironic thing is, Feyenoord were a mess and still are a mess. But when we played them, like everybody's you've talked about Bologna being in crisis. They're not in crisis at all. They've lost a few games against teams they probably should be beating, like your Florentinos who are sitting bottom in the league. But that's not a crisis. Feyenoord were in basically meltdown mode.
Feyenoord are basically having a season that we are having.
Pretty much, aye. I don't think Bologna are having that season. I think they're still doing pretty well. They're still, I think, only a few points off the European places as well. So their league form's not been good, but as I said, their European form's been pretty impressive.
Please, Celtic, don't let Lewis Ferguson score against
Well,
that.
to be honest, he doesn't really play much for Bologna. He's no. I think he had a good first season, but then I think he's had a lot of injury problems that have kind of paid to that. Like a
No, but
good
you know
season.
what I know, Josh? We'll probably make him look like the Zinedine
No,
Zidane.
no. He's a top football player. He's just been hanging with injuries, and so
No, but the way, what I mean is, the way we play in Europe, give him all the space in the world.
um, I've said it and I'll say it again. I don't see Celtic. If you want my honest opinion, getting a result tomorrow night. I don't. I think I don't think you can compare this to Feyenoord. I don't. I don't think, and I
I
think we
kind of
forget.
feel similar to the way I felt before the final game, I'm not going to lie.
Nah, I see. I don't know if you can compare it. I really don't. I don't. I think the standards of teams are completely different. One was in crisis and plays in the Dutch league. One is a dip in form, but plays in Italy, which is one of the top 5 leagues. I mean, you also forget that night Feyenoord had one of their stands completely
Yeah.
cordoned off.
I
So
don't know how intimidating Bologna is. I
I
don't
don't
watch
see him.
Italian football, Josh, to be honest.
No, I think they've got some good players in positions, especially in the wide areas,
Oh God.
especially on the right hand side. And you're either going to be looking at Donovan, who's a young guy against Braga,
Well,
wasn't very good, or you're looking at Anthony Ralston.
Ralston travelled. Don't know if
So,
that's good or bad.
um, to be honest, at the moment, the more numbers we can get, the better. To be honest, and that's where we're at the moment. Unfortunately,
I
the more
agree.
numbers we can get, to be honest, at the moment, is kind of where we're at. Unfortunately, but I think if Celtic can play at their very best, we could get a result, maybe a point. But I still think we're
Personally,
lacking
I think
severe.
everybody would take a point, Josh.
We'd take a point, but I think if Bologna get the first goal, Celtic. There's no goal apart from maybe Negrin. There's one goal scorer on that team,
Yeah.
and that's the way I look at it. But also we'll see kind of what happens in terms of the team. Alistair, it's probably just going to be self-explanatory. The only change I would make would bring in Negrin for Hattati. I'm going to be honest with you. Ray Hattati the last few weeks has been terrible.
Mm.
He
I
looks
think
like a
I
guy. He
think he
just looks like
might
he's checked out. I'm sorry.
I think he might play Hattati,
Well,
because
it's
European football, you do tend to get a bit more room.
that'll just give him more opportunity to get the ball with him. To be honest,
Well, let's be honest, so I wouldn't be surprised what other team is. I think we could guess 10 out there.
and you go with McGregor, Engels, and Negrin because you can't drop Negrin. Negrin, he's literally the only player that actually scores in this team.
Yeah.
If he plays, if he Hattati, I just think I look at I just especially. I don't know. I think Hattati. I don't know if he was another one that was maybe promised a move or whatever. But I can't. I'm just sick of having this conversation. Oh, he's on it. He's brilliant. Aye, but we don't need players like that right now. Celtic need consistency, and that's been the problem. We've not got any consistency. The only consistency, as I say again, is Negrin. He seems to always the only consistent thing that's happening is Benjamin Negrin's popping up in the right position all the time. But I don't know how much how much longer you can rely on that.
I certainly hope he doesn't play McGowan in the right. I've seen that move and I don't like it. I get it, but it doesn't mean to say I have to like it, Josh.
I think realistically, you're probably looking at Maeda up top, Taneki on the left, and Yang on the right. That's the best we can do at the moment, in my opinion. That's the best squad we can field at this moment in time, and
It will be interesting. Ian Axel's batting training to see if he's in the squad. I wouldn't risk him. I'd
I'm going to risk him because you know it's
I'd
just
be
going to
trying
part
to
back
use him
half
for
again.
Sunday.
But I know, and you bring him back on the park, he'll be back half within 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And they can
Um,
only give you an hour
and
at
that's the
best.
unfortunate thing, and that's what we don't need. I've said this is what Celtic don't need. We don't need players that can, give you. Oh, I can only give you an hour because my legs are clearly gone. We need players that are going to come in and date the course for us. Unfortunately, at the moment, we've no got that. And I think we're going to need to wait until the summer until we get the kind of full rebuild. In terms of score predictions, Alistair, I mean, I don't really know how to feel because, as I said, I've been extremely kind of open and honest, but I think the score like timing. But we think the score prediction by Williams says 2-1, so I'll keep that. Is it 2-1?
Yeah.
He says.
So I take some matching. What you smoking, Liam?
Aye.
No, I'm going to be kind of half full and say one each.
Stop me, The storylines, man. No.
You see, you're going Atalanta again,
That's what
Aaron.
I'm thinking. I said if the only way we get a result if it's an Atalanta type, back to the wall job.
Well, I think to be honest, John, and we always say this, we Celtic away from home in Europe. It depends how you start.
No, if you get him an early goal, it could whatever Bologna want it to be. If I'm being honest with you,
And it really depends on their attitude.
well, their attitude will be I think top notch. They know they've had a probably few poor results domestically.
Well,
So
actually, John, I just had a look at the table. Believe it or no, they're actually they're on 11 points, we're on 7. So they're
um,
not that far in front of us.
but no, they'll have an attitude because they'll want to finish top 8. They've put themselves in a good position to probably go and do that. So and they've had a decent European campaign. So I don't doubt Bologna are going to commit probably the traps, and because
Yeah.
they know that there's problems around Celtic. They know that the manager mentioned it.
Yeah,
The
well,
manager
I would expect. Not everybody in Europe knows we've got bad problems at the moment, so I'm
but
just hoping for the best.
I think
I'm not expecting much to be fair.
if we're to get anything, we're going to kind of hang with the first 15-20 minutes. If we don't, the game's done. If I'm being honest with you, but I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight's video, and as usual, we'll be back with post-match reaction at some point after the game. Hopefully, talking about a positive result in Europe, but I would not bet on it. But until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.